Oh man, why did I buy another KTM? I have been riding my Yamaha, which only asks of me regular, not $4.39, which actually isn't that bad these days here.
First of all, welcome to the channel and thank you for stopping by. When time permits, please consider subscribing. I would greatly appreciate it. What we're going to do today is make a mistake, or most likely a mistake. And at that, it's going to be a very expensive mistake. I tell my friends that I'm always looking for a bike. I love a deal, I love a new bike, and there's an endless number of bikes that I want to own. Most recently, and I say recently being about the last 6 months, what I've been looking for is a KTM 790 Adventure S. Something to go long distance riding on that's just a little more comfortable than my KTM 390, but not as large and heavy as my V0Strom 1000 was. And I thought I had two good deals, absolutely solid good deals this weekend. One was in Maryland and one was in Georgia. And it looks like I had locked down Georgia, good to go, no problem. But I made the mistake of opening Facebook Marketplace again. And I put in 790 Adventure and I just hit search. And what turned up but a 2020 790 Adventure R for a crazy price. $1,500 lower than any other one I had seen. And this put it within $750 if I gave them a lowball offer of the deal I had in Georgia. So I thought, I've got a great bike. It's a really good deal. I'm gonna go get that bike. But maybe, just maybe, I'll throw a lowball offer at this guy. What can happen? As it turned out, an hour later, he said, sure, let's do it. And I'm like, okay, I guess I'm getting a 790 Adventure R. Well, we're gonna go get that bike. I am 4 hours, 200 miles-ish away from that bike, and I do not have a rack here in New York. So I'm going to drive 4 hours with my wife and then ask her to drive 4 hours back when I ride the bike back. Let's see how it goes.
All right, I don't know if you can hear me at all because that little tiny KTM spoiler is literally throwing air at my throat. So I have to imagine some of that is making it up to where my microphone is located. So, it is new bike day. I have no idea why I did this other than I've wanted one for years. I certainly don't need one. All of my bikes are fine, but somehow I find myself 4 hours north of where I live in New York, riding a 2020 KTM 790 Adventure R. I honestly was not looking for an R, because whenever I went online and looked for 790, the price for the R's was more than I'm willing to pay. I have a ceiling that I'll pay for a used bike. And until this one came along, none of them were within $2,000 of that. This one happened to be 1,000 higher than my ceiling. So for the hell of it, I offered the gentleman to come up in one day if he'll take my offer. And he sent back that, hey, a guaranteed easy sale is worth a few bucks. Come on up. So that's what I did today. It is Father's Day, and I am riding 4 hours home with his Vermont plates, with his insurance. He said, don't worry about it. I'll keep it on there for a week so you can get sorted with DMV. Really, really nice guy. He is a bit of a motorcycle collector. I'm going to pop in some pictures here of his collection of restored bikes. He's gone ahead and collected all of the bikes he bought as a youth. He went and collected all the bikes he rode as a youth, purchased them in various states, and then restored them to the beauty you're going to see right here. Pretty amazing fellow. riding on the highway. I don't know if you can see it in the camera, but I'm in rain mode because, well, why not? Let's be safe. You look at the sky, it could rain at any minute. I'm not accustomed to a bike quite this tall. While my 390 Adventure is insanely tall, it's still a good inch shorter than this is. The gentleman was about 6'4", and I do believe the preload on this bike is cranked to the max. It's really high. With my 30-inch insteam, I'm barely touching both of my toes when on the bike, so adjustments will need to be made, but I really couldn't give up on this bike because it's the far superior adjustable suspension, literally for the same price I was going to pay for a nicely done 790 S model. So if it's too tall, I can always sell it, but right now I think there's a couple of things I can do to bring it down a little bit without having to replace the rear spring. And if we have to replace the rear spring, maybe at that point we'd sell it and buy an S model. But for now, my wife wants to get some ice cream, and since she was kind enough to spend 8 hours of her day helping me buy this bike, I think we better go to where she wants ice cream. All right, the bike and I, and the camper van and the wife have finally made it to the ice cream store. The ice cream was exceptional, very good. Apparently, Robos Creamies and General Store is Instagram and TikTok famous. I can't say I've ever seen the gentleman before, but he seemed incredibly nice, and I'm told is a very funny comedian. So maybe I'll have to look him up on Instagram. But it's time to get back on the really, really tall bike. It's another hour and 45 minutes to go, but time to get back to the Albany area. Well, we're heading through one of the cities in Vermont, and boy, is it fun with stoplights with a bike this tall. If I lean the bike slightly, I can get down almost the entire ball of my left foot. I'm actually having to do the infamous cheek slide in order to be properly balanced and hold this thing up. Thank goodness the weight is amazing on this. I mean, I can't say what it feels like for actual weight, but as far as the balance goes, it almost feels like the bike holds itself up. And like I said, thankfully, because I've hit 3 lights before I turned the camera on, and it's like, oh boy, I'm way up there. I tell you, motorcycles are not built for the inseam challenge, such as myself. So far, so good. I learned how to use the cruise control. That was helpful because, well, I've been waiting to have a bike with cruise control for quite some time now. And it's nice to be able to just let it go. I mean, obviously this is not the best road for it, but it certainly works well.
Well, I really hope some of that footage came out. I can't be sure because it's the first time I've really used the Insta360 in my helmet. And as if the footage did turn out well, you would have heard me say the short windscreen on this bike puts the air right here through all of this and creates a lot more noise than the GV airflow on my 390 does. But my 4.5 hour, 225 mile first impression is this bike is a blast to ride. It was a lot of fun. It reminded me power-wise of my V0Strom 1000, my 2014. Look at Greg at the Bearded Grump to see that bike. He's got the red one, which is a little prettier, but it's the same bike overall. That bike was a blast to ride. This one is the same kind of power, the same kind of acceleration, but it's a little bit lower on the light or on the weight, and it certainly feels a lot lighter for me, which I like. I haven't had a chance to take it off-road. I haven't had a chance to try out many of the modes. I tried out rain, I tried out street. I was in rally when I first got on it, and I took it right off of that. But first impressions, lots of fun. the addendum to the first impression is, oh my God, this bike is tall. Holy shoot. I am literally on my tiptoes if I try to put both feet down. And if I'm not leaning over the seat, I am on half of the ball of my foot at best. To get a foot down decently, I kind of need to shuffle off. About a mile from home, I came to a very off-camber area, and I nearly dropped the bike. A mile from where I live, I nearly dropped the bike. So tonight I'm going to be ordering the lower seat, and I'll see if that's enough. And if not, maybe we lower the bike, maybe we sell the bike, but I hope we don't sell the bike because it's been truly exciting. All right, I hope the footage turned out. I hope you stuck around, and if you did, thank you and take care.